This week, we're in Los Angeles with a football club making a difference in their community.
We get our skates on at the world's first ever downhill cross event in Russia.
There's some cutting-edge sport on offer at the 12-hour Lawnmower Racing World Championships.
And we meet Tyson Fury as he prepares to land a knockout blow against Otto Wallin.
Few sports are as exhilarating as Speedway. There are no brakes, just a single gear. And the bikes go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 3 seconds. The Speedway World Championship was back in Sweden for the second time this year as the G&B Arena in Manila played host to round 6 of the 2019 season. The crowd gave local rider Fredrik Lindgren a warm welcome. The 33-year-old Swede was fourth in the overall standings, heading into the meet.
I am a couple of points behind, so I really need to try to claim those points back. But at the moment, my form hasn't been the greatest. I'm still trying to find it, and hopefully I will have a better result in Molilla in front of the home crowd, and I hope they can give me some extra energy to perform better.
However, Lindgren's meeting was almost over after a crash during Heat 6. One of this season's standout riders, Patrick Dudek, hit the ground right in front of Lindgren. The Swede managed to wheelie his bike over the top of Dudek to prevent injury to both himself and the pole. However, in so doing, Lindgren himself ended up on the dirt and could barely walk. He looked at doubt for the rest of the competition. Nevertheless, Fredrik Lindgren managed to qualify for the first semi-final, lining up in a field including the winner from the last round in Poland, Bartosz Zmarzlik.
2 places then available in the final tonight. The first 2 in this semi-final will progress. Can anybody stop Laguta? Immaculate tonight off the inside gate. He's made a good start as well. He's clamping the inside line. Lindgren almost in the fence there, but he's got plenty of drive. Here he comes down the back straight. Freddie Lindgren! What a move from fast Freddie Lindgren. Now, has he got the drop? Has he done enough? Oh. Laguta's holding the line, but here comes Lindgren again.
Once again round the outside. He was awfully right in the first corner, and he's going to do him. Brilliant effort from Lindgren. Laguta hanging on in there on the inside. Vasilik working hard. Zmarzlik out the back. Neck and neck with Laguta, but fast Freddie Lindgren. What an effort from him. He's delighting the home crowd. He's going to make the final.
Yeah, he's going high and wide into the dirt. He's getting the drive where nobody else is. Second place in red is Artem Laguta. Third in blue is Martin Vasilik. Trailing in the back is Bartosz Zmarzlik. That'll be a massive disappointment for him.
Sure will.
But it's Fredrik Lindgren who's going to book his place in the final. Here he comes, the Manila crowd jubilant, Cal.
Superb effort from Freddie Lindgren. That move around the outside the first corner, stunning, delights the home crowd.
In the second semi-final, Leon Madsen, joint top heading into Manila, faced compatriot Mikkel Mikkelsen, as well as Poland's Maciej Janowski and Matej Jaeger of Slovenia.
Here we go. Yep, second semi-final. Who's going to emerge here? It's a good start for Janowski, isn't it? Inside gate, he's holding that line beautifully. Watch out here for Mikkelsen now. Janowski on one wheel. Madsen holding second place, but his fellow Dane, Mikkelsen, is going to put the pressure on. Madsen reads it well and goes wide going into lap 2. It's Janowski the leader. Leon Madsen desperate to get into the final. Racing through the pain barrier. Holds on to second spot.
He does indeed. Had to work overtime. Covered the move from Mikkelsen. Mikkelsen's now relegated to the back. Janowski sharp away from the inside. keep your eyes on Leon Madsen. He's so quick, he can come from anywhere. Zagar out of shape right round the outside as well. Back in third place, but for Janowski and Madsen, oh, Zagar again well out of shape, right out in the grit, in the dirt. But for Janowski, he's looking strong in front.
Yeah, Janowski's got this one in the bag all right, and Leon Madsen is going to make it through to the final. He's going to extend his lead in the World Championship going into Tetero in 2 weeks' time.
Brilliant.
But it's Mats Janowski from Leon Madsen.
A Pole and a Dane qualified to take their place in the final alongside Russia's Artem Laguta and the meet's comeback king, Fredrik Lindgren. Could the Swede turn it around in front of the home crowd and achieve an unexpected thriller in Melilla?
Some fantastic speedway tonight, and it's a great start for Janowski off the inside gate. Look at Lindgren! Here comes Lindgren again in the dirt! Oh, he just got a superb piece of dirt there to pull clear. He's going where nobody else is going, and it's fast Freddie Lindgren. Could he be set for another Grand Prix win here? Janowski second, Madsen third, and Laguta is at the back, but look at Lindgren go, Cal!
Brilliant move from Freddie, just like the semi-final. Railed round in the dirt, it's not over because Janowski's coming on strong in second place. Madsen's there as well, Madsen on the inside into second place. Superb effort from the Danish rider once again, but Lindgren's out in front. Got just over a lap to go, can he hang on?
Well, Madsen's really working hard here, but Lindgren is hitting the track at just the right spot.
He's got it nice.
He can hardly walk, but he can ride a speedway bike, and it's a Swedish winner in Melilla. Fast Freddie Lindgren is a true hero tonight.
Wow.
Firstly, for lifting the wheel and throwing the bike into the air fence to avoid Patrick Dudek on the deck, and now winning the Scandinavian Grand Prix. Hats off to fast Freddie Lindgren!
Wow, what a night for the Swedish rider. That really does top off an incredible night. I can guarantee you he's never had a night like this before when you consider the incident he was involved with Dudek earlier on. Got himself off the floor, won in fine style. Miraculous move around that first turn. He did it in the semi-final. It was a repeat performance in the final. Home fans delighted, exactly what they wanted. Freddie Lindgren delivers in Melilla tonight.
Thank you guys, thank you so much. It's been an eventful evening for me with a huge crash, and as you said, I can hardly walk, but I certainly can ride a bike, and gave it everything I had and came out with a win. Woo! Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you guys. You've been behind me all the night, and I can feel it. I have so nice energy from you guys, and thank you very much.
Now it's time for our sporting question. This month sees the World Surf Games take place in Tahara, Japan. The USA have sent a very strong team to the Games, which includes surfing legend Kelly Slater. The 47-year-old is currently one of the top 10 surfers in the World Surf League, but will be using this event as a chance to secure qualification for the 2020 Olympic Games. Surfing will make its Olympic debut in Tokyo next year, and all surfers that wish to be selected for the event must compete at the World Surf Games. Slater has made no secret of the fact he'd like to be part of Olympic history by competing in the inaugural event. One candidate on the women's side is Carissa Moore. The 27-year-old from Hawaii is leading the 2019 World Surf League and will be the favourite for the title in Japan. Despite growing up without the dream of being an Olympian, Moore is keen to represent the USA at the upcoming Olympics. And it's surfing that provides us with our question for this week. We'd like you to name the defending champion in the women's event at the World Surf Games. We'll bring you the answer later in the show.
Los Angeles. the City of Angels, the promised paradise, the place where artists come to dream. It was here in 1979 that Peter Gabriel discovered Fever Beat, the first American signing to the British music label Charisma. Mick Mulfriedel was the band's bassist.
My passion was always music, so I played in a band and made a couple of records for Polygram.
The band came and went, but like many of the Viva Beats members, Mick remained active in the Los Angeles music scene.
I worked on some of the Bill and Ted films. I worked on a film called The Fabulous Baker Boys. I did a lot of work actually on documentaries with an Australian director called Mark Lewis, who's like a multiple Emmy winner. We did a show that I think the only one ever won an Emmy for, called The Natural History of the Chicken, which was actually one Sundance year that we took it up there.
Mick has since forged a successful career as a music composer, working across a variety of films, documentaries, and adverts. But music is not the only passion in the musician's life.
I basically fell into coaching because I had a big soccer background as a kid. I played in high school, I played in college. My father was a semi-pro soccer player out of Germany. And when I first started coaching, I was working with mostly West Side kids. The parents were lawyers and actors and producers. And their relationship to a coach for their kid is almost like you like work for them. It's almost like they hired a piano teacher, an oboe teacher. And with the community I have now, these kids, their relationship to you is much different. You are a mentor. You have a level of impact on these kids.
Mick is now president of the Downtown LA Soccer Club, a non-profit team established in 2007 to encourage girls from the underserved communities of Los Angeles to get into soccer.
One of our first tasks when recruiting a player, a girl player, is to simply just get the parents to even consider the fact that the best player in their family isn't or may not be one of their sons. It's a hard slog at first. I've had kids that for the first 6 or 8 months, you never see a parent there. Someone else will pick them up. But once you get the parent to come to a game and they see their daughter play, that they start they get this realization, wow, my daughter is a soccer player, and then they become some of the most avid fans that we have.
The Latino community comprises almost half of LA's diverse population, many of whom live in the busy downtown area. Nayeli Barahona is top scorer for Mick's team. The 15-year-old from the Pico Union District is one of many young Latina women challenging cultural conventions to play the sport she loves.
The thing that me, Mick, and the club, the program we're trying to do downtown, we're just trying to make it easier for Latina women to be represented and give people a face to look up to. Latina women are supposed to cook, clean, help their brother out, help the family out, and stuff like that. What this program, what Downtown is trying to do to get away from that stereotype is basically letting girls into the club, and then it gets them away from that part of their life.
For Latina girls such as Nayeli, prejudice like these are a part of everyday life, both on and off the soccer field.
As much as I love my biological father, it's he's not really involved with my soccer life. It's more of my mom. She takes me to my games. She she's more on the supporting side, but my father, no, he's not really like involved with soccer, and he is involved in my life, but he's just not very supportive of my hobby. He tells me sometimes instead of like being at soccer, I should be home or like doing stuff, helping my mom cook or something. And it's hard sometimes because he doesn't understand how much I love the sport. He doesn't understand how much I'm very passionate about it.
They get taunted a lot, you know, especially if they're winning, you know, and it's not the other players, it's usually the parents.
White parents and very racist parents, very racial comments we get, and it's hard to play with that kind of environment.
Yelling, you know, go back to your country, you know, ghetto soccer.
Your parents shouldn't even be here, you shouldn't even be here.
She said, yeah, they scream racist, you know, stuff at me. She said, but it just makes me run faster because then they don't see my tears.
Each Wednesday evening, Mick begins a 1.5-hour commute around LA to collect players for training. For many of these girls, this is their only escape from the turmoil of broken homes, abusive parents, and ever-deepening cultural divides.
The girls are all told, you know, if you play for the downtown soccer club, no one's allowed to mess with you. You know, because they come from homes in which, you know, there's 12, 15 people living there. There's uncles or cousins that just came up from Central America that they barely know. There's a lot of abuse that goes on there. The fathers, you know, a lot of times are drinking a lot. Most of them don't really work, and most, you know, a lot of them are, you know, here undocumented. I mean, I've got some girls that have lived in 4 and 5 different houses simply because they need to find a safe place to put them, where they're not being victimized by older men and people they barely know.
Hey, Mick.
Hey, kiddo, how you doing?
I'm doing good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
That's good.
We've never ever sent a girl away or told her she couldn't play because she didn't have any money. They get everything. Their uniforms are given to them, their backpacks, their warm-ups, all their tournament fees are paid, simply because, you know, we want them to concentrate on soccer. The kids never have to see money changing hands, never have to feel like, oh, I can't, you know, what shoes can I get the ones you like, get the ones that fit, get the ones that you know, but they're this much, we don't care. You're an incredible player, you should have incredible gear. What soccer does for them is it gives them a place that they can go to. And I think that's why they're there. The fact that they're treated like the elite athletes that they are. In our club, it's just if you can play, you can play. If you show up on the field and you have the commitment, you have the passion for the game, you have the skill level to play it, you will play. Nobody will ever tell you, I'm sorry, you can't afford a uniform. You know, we'd love to keep you, but you know, your parents aren't paying the fees. We make it as simple as you can. If you can play, you can play.
This philosophy underpins the core values of Mick and his head coach, Carter Hogwhite. As a former player, Coach Carter uses her knowledge and experience of the game to instill confidence, conviction, and creativity in the minds of her young players.
One of the things that I think at downtown that we really focus on is being able to kind of help the girls not only on the soccer field, they're amazing players, the skill level that they have is unbelievable, but also allowing them an outlet, somewhere to come to grow not only as players, but also as females as well.
It's like I'm playing with my family, like they get me, they understand me. It's just amazing to be with a good group of girls that look like me and have fun with me.
Your race is not what defines you, and I think that would be the ultimate goal for them, is to really help to change the perception of what a soccer player is in the U.S.
And for Mick Mulfriedel, there will only ever be one condition necessary to claim a place on his team.
If they love the game, they can play for us. You know, we guarantee them they'll have a spot. We guarantee them they'll have a uniform. We guarantee they'll be coached, that they'll have transportation. You just show up and play and we'll take care of the rest.
Over the next few weeks on Transworld Sport, Scotland's Jamie Murray, one of the world's leading doubles players, is presenting training tips to help improve your game.
All right, so I'm going to talk to you now about poaching as a server's partner. For me, there's either I can agree with my partner before the point that we're going to make a poach, or sometimes I might do that just because I read the ball, my partner's hit a good serve, I can read that my opponent's in trouble, and I can read where he's going to hit the ball, and I'll make a move anticipating where he's going to play the shot. Poaching is a huge part of doubles, especially for me, being unpredictable as a team, having a lot of movement and kind of keeping your opponents on the back foot and kind of guessing what sort of plays you're trying to do makes it harder for them to know where to return, puts them under pressure, maybe forces them into mistakes. Okay, so I've agreed with my partner that we're going to do a poach. So for a wide serve, I'm going to move to my position on the sound of the serve, and then I'm going to move here to get my outside foot on the middle line. But all the time I'm facing the court because the ball might come back here and I need to be able to play here and I need to be able to play backhand volley. If I turn and move like this, I can't get this ball back here. Okay, and if we agree to do a poach but my partner's going to serve down the tee, the movement's slightly different. So again, I move to my position on the sound of the serve where my partner serves for a tee serve. Because I'm poaching, my goal now is to get to this position here on the court. And again, facing the court, not having my back turned like this. So for server's partner, sometimes we agree to make a poach, but you should always be kind of looking to make a move, touch the ball as often as you can. So sometimes you can make poaches on your own accord. So that can be done through reading the play, whether you're reading the kind of shot setup that your opponent is going to play. Maybe, for example, I can see that he's only going to play this ball cross court, and I can anticipate that's where the ball's going and I can make my move. Or perhaps my partner's hit a great serve and I can see that my opponent is in a defensive position, the ball's going to come back slowly, or it does come back slowly, and then I can make my move to try to touch the ball. But I think it goes back to that mindset that you have as server's partner of trying to touch as many balls off the return as you can. One way of training that when I'm on court with my partner, there's just two of us, is that I'll get him to feed the ball very fast around me, and then I'll get him to throw in a slower, maybe a higher ball cross court that I need to anticipate and read and move on to it very quick and try to put the ball away.
The Patriot Park in Moscow, Russia, recently hosted the world's first ever downhill skate cross event. The course is made out of 150 tons of material and starts at over 22 meters high. It features a number of jumps and banked corners to test even the very best inline skaters in the world. Competitors from countries such as Switzerland and Austria traveled to Russia for this unique event. The skaters raced 4 at a time, and the fastest to the finish won.
You know, the difficult part is it's something completely new, although we know, how to pump, how to jump, how to start and everything, but the surface just changes it so much, and it was a very big learning curve these past 2 days. I did a lot of runs on this track and it got really better. And yeah, it's just because it's different, like that's the biggest challenge of it. But of course you need time to adapt, and I think if you have more of these races, be more often here on this track, it will get better and we will have even greater racing. And yeah, I think if this stays here, then we will have a good future doing the summer thing.
The event was set up to offer a summer alternative to Red Bull's Crashed Ice series. Both men and women took part with the same aim, to generate lots of speed and navigate the corners without crashing. The finals took place under floodlights. Among the competitors in the men's final were Austria's former ice cross world champion Marco Delago and Russia's very own Dmitry Malechkin.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I speak on the Russia.
We came to Russia to make history.
History. Let's go.
The men's and women's races were run at a blistering pace. Dmitry Malechkin sprinted to the front early on in the men's event and gained a slight gap. The women's competition was an all-Russian affair. 32-year-old Viktoria Senotruzova took the victory. In the men's race, Dmitry Malechkin maintained his early lead to come out on top.
It was brilliant. It is a very technical track, and you have to read it well. You need to know when to slow down, when to jump, when to turn, when to put the rollers at an angle, and so on. If you don't do this, you will fall. When you are roller skating, you have less control than when you're skating on ice. So it's good training for us, ahead of the winter events too. This event has been good, and we have been able to make our visions come into reality, and it's great fun.
Since 1974, the English county of West Sussex has played host to the annual 12-hour Lawnmower race. The overnight event is the highlight of the sports calendar. The man tasked with organising the race is Mark Jaffa.
So we've had some really dry weather for the last week on the build-up to the event. A little bit of rain. The ground is very dry and very hard, and we are actually watering the track at the moment in order to get some moisture into it. During the practice sessions, we saw the track starting to dust up. So if this warm weather continues, doesn't look like there's going to be any cloud anytime soon. So it's going to be quite a hot race for everybody, and it's going to be quite dusty.
A speed trap has been introduced at the event for the first time, with the speeds of the mowers reaching around 40 miles per hour. Racing features different types of mowers. Group 2 mowers have a seat attached and a purpose-built chassis. Group 3s are small ride-on tractors, and Group 4 mowers are faster, larger tractors with an obvious bonnet.
We're not allowed to do anything to the engines of the lawnmowers. They have to be based on a domestic lawnmower. We can't use commercially designed mowers at all. Must be all domestic mowers. We're not allowed to change any of the spec of the engine. The only thing we're allowed to do to the engine is to remove the governors to enable them to rev a little bit faster. But we are able to change the way that the wheels work, the T-drives, the various steering mechanisms to make them endurance friendly.
48 teams took to the 1.5-kilometre circuit in the village of Five Oaks with the goal to complete as many laps as possible within the 12 hours. Les Loups Pussy were back, attempting to defend their title. As is tradition, the Le Mans grid formation was in use, with drivers running to their machines to start the race. There was immediately an issue for one of the favourites. Best Western were left watching all the other teams set off as they trailed behind. Other fancied teams included 5-time champions Northerners Kick Grass, Deadball Racing and Team Dynamo, who were led by Richard Hawksby.
We had a really good start, managed to get off the line I think in second place, and we had a few good laps. We led for a little bit and then a couple of the fast boys came past us, but we're just being careful. We don't want to hit any of the hay bales and damage any of our steering, so we just kept it smooth, and first hour really good. I think we're P3 or P4 at the moment, so yeah, great stint.
Every team contains 3 drivers who will drive for around an hour each before coming in to change over and refuel. As darkness covered the course, drivers had to navigate the mowers throughout the night. Despite the tougher conditions, spirits remained high.
Fabulous. Words can't describe it. Amazing. I was coerced by a friend of mine about a month ago. I've raced road bikes in the past and I can't compare it. It's just amazing. Great fun. So I can't recommend it enough.
As the clock struck 4 a.m, the drivers had been racing for 8 hours and the morning dew was at its peak. Many used this time for a quick power nap before their next stint on the mower.
That was my third stint, one more to go. It's a grueler out there. You used to be able to go 90% endurance racing. Now it's a full-on sprint. My arms are like lead. I feel like an heavyweight boxer who's been in the ring for over an hour. Can barely lift them. So we'll have a drink, have a rest, and in 2 hours, do it all again. We're still smiling, so it's not that bad.
During the competition, repairs to the mowers and breakdowns were a common occurrence. As dawn broke at Five Oaks, Team Dynamo were one of the teams to suffer a technical issue.
It's been a tough 12 hours. We were third for quite a while. Then we blew an engine, so we had to do a quick engine change, which took us to about 18th position. But we've been clawing our way back, and we're up to 5th overall now and 4th in class, so we're pleased with that. And the lawnmower's been faultless, really, apart from the engine. So.
Throughout the race, Northerners Kick Grass were involved in an intense battle with Best Western and defending champions Les Loups Pussies. However, the team from Luxembourg had to retire following 3 engine failures. Despite their sluggish start, it was Team Best Western who romped to victory, covering 384 laps within the 12-hour slot.
Absolutely epic, best feeling ever. Wanted to win this for so long. The cream of the crop really turned up here, and it's not a 12-hour endurance, it's a 12-hour sprint, and it's a dice to the death. Anything can happen in that 12 hours.
That's perfect. Lovely, thank you.
The FIVB Volleyball Men's Nation League recently reached its conclusion in Chicago, USA. Poland, Russia, Brazil and the host nation contested the semi-finals, with Iran and France missing out. Russia proved too strong for the Poles, winning 3-1, but the United States were pushed all the way in their semi-final by Brazil. The hosts rallied from a set down and an early deficit in the fourth to take the decider 15-9. Transworld Sport gained behind-the-scenes access to the United States team as they prepared for that final against Russia.
Joe, that's a 100-pound medicine ball. Hey Tim, why don't you help us out? What are we doing today? Here, we got day before the game, it's Tuesday. We got a Wednesday game. We're in the weight room. We're lifting.
We're in the weight room.
Getting better.
I mean, the thing is, if you're strong, you got to activate it. We're not trying to get stronger. We're just trying to activate what we already have.
Activate it, keep the strength,
Yeah,
keep the explosiveness.
otherwise you lose it. If you don't use it, you lose it, bro.
That's educational stuff. What do you think?
What did he say?
And despite the serious workout, there was still time for the odd quip or two.
Taylor Sander rocking the best mustache in the world. I don't care what you tell me. Best player mustache in the world.
Mikey, you ever gonna put a weight on that bar, or are you just gonna do barbell exercises with only the bar all day?
I mean, I'm working on movement training, you know, so.
That's what I heard, yeah.
Yeah. Functional strength.
Yeah. Just do CrossFit, just try CrossFit.
No, CrossFit would kill me. I'd die. Going up? Go ahead and, yeah. Let's get our core work in.
But would all that hard work pay off as they faced Russia in the final?
Phenomenal. There was a chance for the USA. The block had done its job. There was a good serve from Smith. They're unable to take it. It's set point now for Russia. It's an ace serve for Smith. Nice work by Golubev. Top swing. Both Volkov and Kliuka are having a very, very solid match so far. Oh, brilliant. That was a cracking set and a wonderful spike.
USA setting up so much of this offense with their service behind the line.
Oh yes, Spike Town, Happy Town, warm-up hit, hashtag that's incredible. Very nicely placed down to position one, right in the corner. Set goes to Russia, and it's Volkov who gets the ball on the floor. Huge roar from him. No passing that one. Oh, what a serve from Kliuka. He's had an excellent match, he really has. Brave serve from Holt. But Polyatev's done it, it's off the block and away. Russia have taken gold here in Chicago. It is back-to-back VNL victories for Russia. They have defeated the USA by 3-1.
In the inaugural tournament last year, Russia defeated France to win gold, and their latest success against the USA netted them $1 million in prize money.
Now it's time for the answer to our quiz question. Earlier in the show, we asked you to name the defending champion in the women's event at the World Surf Games. The answer is Sally Fitzgibbons. The 28-year-old Australian won the title in Tahara, Japan last year. She will once again be making the trip to Asia for the 2019 edition, where she will hope to defend her title and secure Olympic qualification. Sally will face stiff competition from Carissa Moore, who currently leads the 2019 World Surf League standings, one place ahead of Fitzgibbons. In her youth, Sally was also one of Australia's top juniors in athletics, winning gold in the 800 and 1500 metres at the 2007 Australian Youth Olympic Festival. 12 years on, Sally will now have the chance to qualify for the Olympics, not on the track, but in the sport that has remained her #1 passion.
Back in November 2015, British heavyweight Tyson Fury caused one of the biggest upsets in recent boxing history when he defeated long-reigning heavyweight world champion Vladimir Klitschko. The man from Manchester boxed brilliantly, winning a unanimous points decision to secure the WBA, WBO, IBO and IBF belts.
You don't have to be rich to go into boxing. You can come from any walk of life, any background, any disprivileged life. You can walk into a boxing gym with nothing, in debt, and come out as a champion, if you want it bad enough.
From the outside, Tyson looked to be on top of the world. But away from the sport, his life was spiralling out of control. He failed to show up to the gym for training. He would go on daily binge drinking sessions, and he tested positive for cocaine, which led to him being given a 2-year period of ineligibility to fight by the British Boxing Board of Control. Tyson was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression, but received mixed support. British boxing journalist Steve Bunce.
It's really interesting because anybody that did come to his defence on Twitter, Facebook, famous people, those were all of the people who had issues in the past, either addictions or people around them had committed suicide or they had mental health issues in their family.
And very few people will ever feel what I feel. Very few people will ever walk in my shoes. Right now, I'm just concentrating on day to day. I take it one day at a time. Most days I feel different to the day before. And as time gets forward, comes on a bit more, then I start to realise that I'm feeling better, everything's going the way it should do. My most important things is to be injury-free and just grind. I'm just grinding it out here right now. I'm at the millstone every day, just grinding, sharpening.
Following a 32-month absence from the ring and peaking at a weight of 27 stone, Tyson got himself fit enough to defeat Sefer Seferi in 4 rounds in Manchester. A high-profile draw against American Deontay Wilder and victory over Germany's Tom Schwartz cemented his comeback to the sport. We sat down with the enigmatic Brit to discuss the highs and lows of his career so far.
Hey, what's going on?
Whoopah! And we're good to go, guys. Cool.
We'd appreciate a little bit of silence in the background, please. The king is on camera. Hi, Transworld Sports. I am Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury is currently preparing for a fight against unbeaten Swede Otto Wallin on September the 14th, after which he expects to have a rematch with Deontay Wilder. The change in Tyson's mentality to boxing now is in stark contrast to what it was after the Klitschko fight.
So we go into the new year and he wants to have a rematch. He's going to have a rematch with Vladimir. But he wasn't in the right place at that time. And it's pointless trying to get ready if you're not ready.
Comes a point in a man's life where you're secure enough to not work anymore. And you could just sit back and relax on the sofa. And then you keep working. And every fight you take or thing you do is generating a hell of a lot of money. So it sort of becomes about business. But I always said to myself, I never wanted to make boxing about business.
Nevertheless, Tyson signed a 5-year deal with a US network at the start of this year, which is worth a reported £80 million. But it is the lineage of boxers in his family and Tyson's love of boxing that is the biggest pull. His father, Gypsy John Fury, was a professional boxer, and his cousin Hughie Fury is a rising heavyweight prospect. Hughie recently joined Eddie Hearn's stable to signal his intentions of one day emulating Tyson.
I always knew Tyson was capable of being the best, and I knew he would be champion of the world one day. I believe there's no one in the world there's a match for Tyson. He's already beat the best. Who's out there left? There's no one there. He's already beat and achieved what any man could ever want.
I never met a Fury that can't fight. And winning is in our blood. All we do is win, no matter what.
One of the most pivotal fights in Tyson's career to date was his second bout with fellow British heavyweight Derek Chisora in 2014. Chisora was withdrawn before the 11th round after taking some brutal punishment. It made the boxing world take note of a new Tyson in town.
Suddenly, we saw Tyson Fury standing up tall. He looked 7 foot, 7.5 foot. And he was using his jab, and then when he wasn't using the jab, he was holding. And he was doing everything that his great nemesis, Vladimir Klitschko, had been doing for 20 years.
Tyson had manoeuvred himself into a position for a showdown with Vladimir Klitschko. The fight was soon all signed. Few gave Tyson a chance.
Look happy for the cameras.
This kid, this traveller kid that had been written off and had been dismissed for lots of his career, put in a boxing lesson, a masterclass. Had that been an American heavyweight in there, outshining, outboxing and outthinking Vladimir Klitschko, we'd be declaring him the second coming of Muhammad Ali. But no, what happened? He walked away from there, people were a bit stunned, and then they said, oh, Vlad had a bad day, Tyson wasn't that good. Rubbish. That was one of the best tactical and masterful performances by any heavyweight in any heavyweight fight.
Do you know, I'll have to show you what the athlete looks like. This is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. There you go. Does that look like a fighter's body? Clearly not. Do I give a... No. Have a look. Fat man. That's who beat you. Shame on you, my friend.
It's all a part of the game. A game that I play, my character that I play. So love me or hate me, I'm still here, still represented. My aim is not to hurt people and upset people. My aim is to divide opinions. And that's it.
But then he also is a practical joker. You know, I mean, the man would show up in a wig and a pair of sunglasses and a string vest. And I wonder why they won't let him into boxing. I mean, it won't let him into a boxing show. The man does have a quirky sense of humour.
In Tyson's absence from the sport, Anthony Joshua took much of the limelight in the British media. But a surprising defeat to Mexico's Andy Ruiz Jr. has seen Joshua's star fall somewhat. 2 years his senior, Tyson Fury is the only British belt-winning heavyweight with an undefeated record. Victory against Otto Wallin in Las Vegas would secure his status as one of the very best.
From a young age, I always used to watch boxing on TV and old videotapes from hundreds of years ago, boxers, right through up until today. So I've always been interested in it because it drove me to it. The sport was so interesting. What you can become through the sport, the discipline and the dedication is phenomenal. And I don't believe there's another sport out there that even comes close to boxing. You know, if I wasn't boxing, I'd still be successful in anything I do because I'm a winner. And I left school with that confidence, knowing I was going to be the heavyweight champion of the world. I had to make it. There was no failure. Failure wasn't an option. Yeah, there's never been somebody like me in boxing before, ever. And I don't believe there'll ever be somebody after me like me. For many, many reasons.